Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So today we are going to start our next chapter in the series of spectrum division through MCQs, and this is going to be our fifth chapter, that is the revolt of 1857. So before starting the chapter, I would give you the explanation of this chapter in brief, and then straight away we will solve the MCQs of this chapter. So let's start. Now, if I talk about the revolt of 1857, it was termed as the first war of independence. Now, this first war of independence was considered by V.D. Savarkar. Now, before anything happens, there are series of happenings or the series of causes through which these things happen. So, if I talk about revolt of 1857, so various causes behind this revolt, where सबसे पहला तो there was an immediate cause. So immediate cause is something that triggers anything. Okay, the second one was economic cause. Then some of them were the political cause. Some of them were the military causes. So this all we will deal right now. Now, if I talk about the causes, so let us see what were the economic causes. Now, if I talk about the economic causes, so we know that India was an agrarian economy right up front. Okay, so this agricultural economy produced raw materials, and other than raw materials, the village industry in the Indian rural setup was a traditional economic industry which supported handicrafts, and they made various goods that were exported all around the world. So the economic cause, as we know that various revenue collection policies were there, such as the permanent settlement, the Ryotwari system, the Mahalwari system. These all system prevailed. So heavy taxation was there. So because of this heavy taxation, it was one of the reason for the uprising of the 1857 revolt. Then the second one was after the British Industrial Revolution, the British made manufactured goods. Now, these manufactured goods were imposed on India, they were pushed on India, which were very cheap. These finished goods were very cheap as compared to the handmade Indian goods. So that also damaged, because this manufactured goods was all over in demand in India also. Okay. Now, heavy duties and heavy taxation or tariffs were imposed on the Indian goods when they were sent abroad. Okay, so where various discriminatory tariffs were also imposed, that was also one of the reasons about the for the decline of the Indian demand for goods. Then was when these goods were less in demand, that led to misery of artisans and handicraft people. So these were some of the economic reasons. Now, if I talk about the political reasons, now the control or all of the control, may it be political or administrative, it lied with the East India Company, and this undermined the role of the zamindars. These undermined the role of the local princes that were there. So these were some of the reasons. Okay, the policy of expansion, political expansion, that was the ring fence policy by Warren Hastings. Second was the subsidiary alliance policy by Lord Wellesley. Third one was the doctrine of lapse, which was introduced by Lord Dalhousie. So under this, majority of the political expansion was made. The doctrine of lapse was such an harsh policy that Dalhousie annexed around 8 states in 8 years. Okay, so these were some of the political reasons for it. If I talk about the military reasons, the main event regarding the military decisions was the act that was introduced, which was known as General Service Enlistment Act. Now, this General Service Enlistment Act was introduced in the year 1856. And who introduced this? So this was introduced by Lord Canning. So under this General Service Enlistment Act, it was there that the sepoy of the Bengal army, the recruits of the Bengal army, would have to give an undertaking to serve anywhere their service might be. Okay, so this also caused resentment among the sepoys. This was one of the military causes. Another was one restriction on wearing caste and sectarian marks. Sectarian marks was also there. Also, the employees were not given bhatta or service allowances when they served abroad. Okay, this was also a reason. So these were some of the reasons. Also, one more reason was there, that socio-economic reasons were also there. These reasons connected to the traditional outlook of the Indian society. There was a tradition of dowry system which the East India Company opposed. Sati was abolished. This also caused resentment. Widow remarriage was also allowed. It also caused resentment among the employees. Now, if I talk about the immediate reason, so immediate reason was the use of greased cartridges. Now, these greased cartridges were to be opened by using the teeth or mouth. मुंह में रख के उसको खोलना पड़ता था. So that greased cartridges were believed to be made up of beef, cow flesh, and pig fat. Okay, so this severely harmed the religious sentiments of the Hindus and Muslims. Okay, so this also caused resentment. So if I talk about the economic cause, heavy taxation, discriminatory tariff policy, partisan behavior with the Indian product. Why partisan behavior? Because the final goods, manufactured goods of the Britain market was to be imposed in the Indian society. If I talk about the political reasons, control lied with the East India Company. Zamindars were undermined, local peasants were undermined, which also caused resentment among the zamindars. Now, interference with the socio-religious affairs. I told you about the sati, I told you about the widow remarriage, I told you about the dowry system. All of this was targeted. If I talk about the military, discontent among the sepoys, General Service Enlistment Act you can mention here, 1856 ka. Then was the bhatta or the service allowances were not given. Also, restriction on wearing the caste and the sectarian marks was also there. So these were some of the military reasons. Now, if I talk about the revolt, so the main revolt, it started from Meerut. ठीक है, it started from Meerut on 10th May 1857, and the first mutiny was there in the 18th Native Infantry. Okay, now Mangal Pandey, you need to know, Mangal Pandey belonged from the 34th Native Infantry, where he revolted. Now there was various centers of the revolt. If I say, now in Delhi, the revolt was led by General Bakht Khan, and the revolt in Delhi was suppressed by two English East India Company officers. The name of the officer were Lieutenant Hudson and Lieutenant Willoughby. Now if I talk about the Kanpur, in Kanpur the revolt was led by Nana Sahib, and it was suppressed by Hugh Wheeler and Colin Campbell. If I talk about Lucknow, in Lucknow the revolt was led by Begum Hazrat Mahal, and the British officer who were responsible for suppressing the revolt were in Lucknow were Henry Lawrence, English, Henry Havelock, James Outram. Okay, now Colin Campbell was also there, so you can also write down the name of Colin Campbell. Now next is, if I talk about Bareilly, in Bareilly the revolt was led by Khan Bahadur. Now some of the additional information that I want to give is about the different areas. अभी हमने देखा खान बहादुर was in Bareilly. Now बिहार में it was led by Kunwar Singh. Now if you are preparing for BPSC, you should know that Kunwar Singh belonged from Ara and a village named Jagdishpur. Okay, next in Faizabad the revolt was led by Maulvi Ahmadullah. Okay, next if I talk about Jhansi, Rani Lakshmi Bai led the revolt, and Sir Hugh Rose was responsible for suppressing the revolt. If I talk about Bagpat, in Bagpat Shah Mal was responsible for leading the revolt. Okay, now if I talk about different views regarding the revolt of 1857. So as I mentioned, first war of independence, it was mentioned by V.D. Savarkar. Okay, then if I talk about R.C. Majumdar, he is an historian, and S.N. Sen, they both were of the view that it was not an organized or national revolt. It was not an organized or national revolt. If I talk about the English historians such as Lawrence and Seeley, these considered the revolt of 1857 a mere sepoy mutiny. Okay, now if I talk about the causes of the failure, because it had a limited territorial base and social base. Second was resources were lacked. Now lack of coordination was also there, and lack of the central leadership was also there in the revolt of 1857. Now the central leadership was assigned to Bahadur Shah Zafar or Bahadur Shah II, who was very old age and the last Mughal emperor of India. Or he was very reluctant in the first hand, and he was also very old to just lead this revolt. Okay, so this was also a reason. Let's now straight away move to the questions now, and let's solve the questions. Now, the first question is regarding, with reference to modern Indian history, the Azamgarh proclamation is related to which of the following events? Now, this question is on Azamgarh proclamation. Now, you can just pause this video if you want to solve this question on your own. You can just pause this video and then try. Now, I hope that you have solved this question. Now, this Azamgarh proclamation is related to the revolt of 1857. Okay, now during the revolt of 1857, this Azamgarh proclamation, it outlined the aims and objectives of the rebel. Okay, now this proclamation called for the Hindu and Muslim unity, and it was so that Hindu Muslim were greatly united during this war. Okay, it was published in the Delhi Gazette, तो इतना आपको जानने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. And the main outline of this Azamgarh proclamation was that Bahadur Shah Zafar was provided the central leadership during this war. Okay, so this is the first question. Let's now move to the second question. Now, which of the following accurately describes the reason behind the discontent among the Indian sepoys which contributed to the revolt of 1857? So what were the reason? Now, first is a law passed during Lord Curzon's tenure required sepoy to serve overseas, leading to the widespread dissatisfaction. Now, if you have focused on the explanation part, you will know that the law which is talked about here is about the General Service Enlistment Act. Now, this General Service Enlistment Act was introduced in the year 1856, and I told you that it was introduced by Lord Canning and not Lord Curzon. Lord Curzon was the Governor General in the year 1905 when the partition of Bengal was made. Okay, so the first statement is absolutely incorrect. We are going to straight away eliminate because यहाँ पे Lord Curzon दिया है, but the correct answer would be Lord Canning. So the first one is wrong. So automatically we have came to our answer, that is 2 and 3. But let's read this second and the third statement also. Now, new recruits in the Bengal army were mandated to agree to serve in any region including overseas regardless of the caste concern. Absolutely correct. Indian sepoys were disillusioned due to significant lower pay and allowances compared to their British counterparts. Absolutely correct. Second and third statement is absolutely correct. So B is going to be the correct answer to this question. Let's now see the next question. Consider the following statement with reference to the revolt of 1857. The revolt began at Delhi and later embraced a vast area from Punjab in the north to Narmada in the south. Now, just right now I have told you that this revolt of 1857 started from Meerut, and the date when it started was 10th May. Okay, so there is no point here that it started from Delhi. Delhi was the center at a later stage when Bahadur Shah Zafar was given the responsibility to lead the revolt. And this revolt was also known as the revolt which showed the Hindu and Muslim unity. As we have seen that there was Azamgarh proclamation, and this proclamation told about the Hindu and Muslim unity. Okay, so this revolt didn't begin at Delhi at first point. Okay, it began at Meerut, and later it spread to other regions such as Delhi. It spread to Awadh. Then later time it spread to Kanpur, where it was led by Nana Sahib. Then Jhansi. In Jhansi, the revolt was led by Rani Lakshmibai, and then parts of central India were also there. Okay. So the first statement is absolutely incorrect. Now Narmada in South diya hai. You should also need to know that this revolt of 1857 was not spread to the South India. Okay, the South India remained untouched by this revolt. So this is also incorrect. Okay, first one is incorrect. हमारे पास क्या ऑप्शन बचा? A and C बचा. So let us see the second statement. Bahadur Shah Zafar was proclaimed the Emperor of India. This is absolutely true. Although he was old, very old, but still he was given the responsibility to lead this movement, and he was proclaimed the Emperor of India. This I have also told you. The second statement is absolutely correct. Now let's read the third statement. The rebels fought for their religious identity rather than by the perception of British as a common enemy. Okay, so this statement is absolutely wrong. Why it was wrong? Because the religious identity was not a matter at all during the revolt of 1857, because this revolt was a bulwark that showed the Hindu and Muslim unity. The various leaders were there. Okay, Shah Mal led this revolt at Bagpat. Kuvar Singh, who was a Hindu, led this revolt at in Bihar. Bahadur Shah Zafar, Maulvi Ahmadullah in Bareilly. So these were the leaders. They were not concerned about their religious identities. Okay, but they had the common perception as a British as a common enemy. This was absolutely true. Okay, this whole revolt was raised by the local people, which were also followed by the zamindars, because zamindars were also oppressed. As I have told you the political reasons behind the revolt. For example, if I talk about Rani Lakshmibai, so the state of Rani Lakshmibai was snatched by the Britishers under the doctrine of lapse policy by the Lord Dalhousie in the year 1854. So what was this doctrine of lapse? That if the state, if the ruler, if the male ruler did not have any natural male here, then his or her state would cease. So Rani Lakshmibai के साथ भी यही हुआ. Her state was snatched, and that is also a reason she led the revolt at Jhansi. Okay, so the third statement is absolutely incorrect. So correct statement क्या होगा हमारा? A statement only. Second statement here is true. Okay, let's now move to the next question. With reference to the revolt of 1857, consider the following pair of leaders and the regions they were associated with. Now, Kuvar Singh was associated with Bihar, absolutely true. Now, just focus that we have to mention the incorrect statement here. ठीक है, तो वन तो करेक्ट है, तो ये A and D तो हो नहीं सकता. Next is Khan Bahadur led this revolt at Bareilly, absolutely correct. Maulvi Ahmadullah led at Kanpur. No, Maulvi Ahmadullah did not lead the revolt at Kanpur, but Kanpur में the revolt was led by Nana Sahib. ठीक है. Now if I talk about Maulvi Ahmadullah, he led the revolt at Faizabad. So the third statement absolutely here given here is incorrect. Second statement भी हमारा correct है, तो ये भी नहीं हो सकता. First तो है ही नहीं, तो only 3 would be correct. ठीक है. फोर्थ स्टेटमेंट को देखें तो जनरल बख्त खान लेड द रिवोल्ट एट दिल्ली, एब्सोल्युटली ट्रू. इफ़ आई टॉक अबाउट द अदर स्टेट, इफ़ आई टॉक अबाउट कानपुर, मैंने बताया अभी नाना साहब लेड द रिवोल्ट. इफ़ आई टॉक अबाउट झांसी, झांसी में रिवोल्ट वाज लेड बाय लक्ष्मीबाई. एंड इफ़ आई टॉक अबाउट बागपत, द रिवोल्ट एट बागपत वाज लेड बाय शाहमल. ओके, So C is the correct answer. Let's now move to the next question. Now this question says, with reference to the participation in the revolt of 1857, consider the following statement. Now, in the regions like Northwest and Awadh, civilians participated in large number against the British due to the shared grievances. Okay, now what were the shared grievances? These were the set of the economic as well as the political factors that were in play. Okay, now Awadh was at a later stage, it was snatched on the account of misadministration. Also, heavy taxation was there, and land revenue policies. This all I have told you. So, bilkul, the first statement is absolutely correct. Now, if I talk about the second statement, the revolt was saw significant involvement from peasants, artisans, and laborers, while small zamindar and civil service servants largely refrained from joining. Now, I already told you, just sorry. Now, this revolt saw involvement from peasant and artisan laborers, ये तो true है, but it also saw involvement from small zamindars and civil servants. For example, if I talk about Kuvar Singh, he was also a zamindar of Jagdishpur. Okay, so this statement is absolutely incorrect कि small zamindars और सिविल सर्वेंट्स का इसमें इंक्लूजन नहीं था. तो सेकंड स्टेटमेंट इज एब्सोल्युटली इनकरेक्ट. ठीक है, सेकंड स्टेटमेंट हम एलिमिनेट कर देंगे. स्ट्रेट अवे वी विल कम टू आवर आंसर, दैट इज 1 and 3. बट लेट अस सी द थर्ड स्टेटमेंट ऑल्सो. Now, during the uprising, the debt records were destroyed and the attacks were carried out on law courts and police station. Yes, why these were debt records were destroyed? Because there were small peasants, there were laborers, which were under the very enormous pressure of giving taxation on whatever they produce. So उनको एक मौका मिल गया कि सारे डेट रिकॉर्ड्स हम डिस्ट्रॉय कर देंगे तो कोई रिकॉर्ड बचेगा ही नहीं हमारे खिलाफ कि इतना पैसा हमें देना है. ठीक है, सो दिस वाज अ मेजर फैक्टर. ठीक है, उन्होंने लोकल डेट रिकॉर्ड भी सारे बर्न कर दिए थे, लॉ कोर्ट्स एंड पुलिस स्टेशन को भी अटैक करके रिसेंटमेंट दिखाया था, तो उनसे उनके पर्सनल मोटिव्स भी पूरे हो गए. तो फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड और थर्ड स्टेटमेंट यहाँ पे करेक्ट है, बाकी के सारे स्टेटमेंट हमारे इनकरेक्ट हैं. ठीक है, सेकंड स्टेटमेंट इज रॉन्ग, करेक्ट आंसर इज 1 and 3. लेट्स नाउ मूव टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. That is, during the revolt of 1857, symbols played a significant role in uniting people against the British rule. Which of the following was used as a covert symbol of the uprising? So this question is regarding what was the symbol of the uprising. So if I talk about the symbol of the uprising, so this symbol was circulation of chapatis and lotus flower. ठीक है, now this symbol created, it break down all the cultural barrier, creating a sense of solidarity with the participants. Okay, so C is the correct answer. Let's now move to the next question, which is assertion and reason का question है. The Queen's Proclamation of 1858 marked a shift in the British policies, including the promise to end annexation and provide religious freedom. Now, the Act for the Better Government of India transferred the control of Indian administration from the East India Company to the British Crown, guaranteeing equality for Indians in the civil servants. ठीक है, अब क्वीन ने प्रोक्लामेशन किया 1858 में. नाउ 1857 के रिवॉल्ट में देयर वेयर मेनी कॉजेज एज वी हैव सीन. इकोनॉमिक कॉज थे, पॉलिटिकल कॉज थे, सोशियो इकोनॉमिक कॉजेज थे. नाउ व्हाट इट वाज नोटिस्ड आफ्टर द रिवॉल्ट ऑफ 1857 वाज कि major strata of society, including the zamindars, local chieftains, and some of the low level princes, these all were also against the British policy. That is why this proclamation of the Queen in 1858 was made, जिसमें उन्होंने बोला था कि हम फर्दर एनेक्सेशन नहीं करेंगे, जितना एरिया हमारे पास है हम वहीं तक रहेंगे, एंड वी वुड नॉट एनेक्स एनी ऑफ द लैंड और एनी ऑफ द एरियाज इन फ्यूचर, इन ऑर्डर टू गेन the respect and in order to gain the confidence of the zamindars and the local money lenders and the chieftains. Okay, so the assertion is absolutely true here. ठीक है, now Act of Better Government of India, this is an Government of India Act of 1858. now ये करेक्ट है कि इट ट्रांसफर्ड द कंट्रोल ऑफ इंडियन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन फ्रॉम द ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी टू द ब्रिटिश क्राउन. दिस इज एब्सोल्युटली ट्रू, बट दिस इज एब्सोल्युटली इनकरेक्ट दैट equality for Indians in the civil servant would be made. Okay, now it was there a formal guarantee to the Indians, equality for Indians in the civil services. It occurred after the introduction of the Indian Civil Services Act of 1870. 1858 में ऐसा कोई प्रॉमिस नहीं किया गया था, तो the reason here is false, but the assertion that is given is absolutely true. So C is the correct answer to this question. ठीक है. Next is the reorganization of Indian Army after the revolt of 1857 was influenced by the recommendation of a specific commission. Now identify the correct commission. So what was the name of the commission? So the name of the commission was Peel Commission. Now after the revolt was suppressed, I already told you there was various reasons, social थे, political थे, military reasons थे. After that Peel Commission was appointed, which asserted various reforms that are needed to be made. ठीक है. And that is when the ratio of Europeans to Indians in the Indian army was increased to 2:1. मतलब 2 Europeans would be there in respect of 1 Indian in the British army. Okay, if I talk about the Flood Commission, so it was appointed in the year 1902, and this commission was appointed in Bengal to deal with the agrarian reforms. ठीक है. If I talk about the Lee Commission, it was established in the year 1923. Okay, and this commission was regarding the reforms in the civil services. Next is Ellenborough Committee. Now Ellenborough Commission जैसा कुछ भी नहीं था. What was there was Ellenborough served as the Governor General of India during 1842 का tenure. ठीक है. And he made some of the major decisions such as withdrawing the British from Afghanistan. So these were some of the decisions that were taken by him. So Peel Commission इसका सही आंसर होगा. Let's now move to the next question. Now which of the following territories was not affected by the revolt of 1857? Now I told you northern India का एक अच्छा खासा area was covered by the revolt. Now if I talk about the not affected areas, now just यहाँ पे देखो कि कौन से ऑप्शन में ये mentioned है या हमने पढ़ा है. जगदीशपुर हमने पढ़ा है. Who was the king of Jagdishpur? Jagdishpur is in Ara, that is in Bihar. And who led the revolt in Jagdishpur or Ara, Bihar? It was Kuvar Singh. So certainly this area was affected. ऑप्शंस देखते हैं. हमारा बी ऑप्शन एलिमिनेट हो गया क्योंकि यहाँ पे तो रिवॉल्ट हुआ था. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट हमारा क्या है? नेक्स्ट हमारा है फैज़ाबाद. फैज़ाबाद में भी हमने देखा है कि द रिवॉल्ट वॉज देयर इन फैज़ाबाद. ठीक है. मौलवी अहमदुल्ला लेड द रिवॉल्ट एज फैज़ाबाद. ठीक है. सेकंड भी हमारा नहीं हो सकता है. सेकंड भी हमने एलिमिनेट कर दिया. फोर्थ हमने एलिमिनेट कर ही दिया. सो 3 तो इज़ देयर जहाँ पे रिवॉल्ट नहीं हुआ क्योंकि कॉमन है ये. ठीक है. अदर देन 3 क्या चित्तौड़गढ़ में रिवॉल्ट हुआ था? नो, चित्तौड़गढ़ में भी रिवॉल्ट नहीं हुआ था. सो सम ऑफ द प्लेसेस विच वेयर अनअफेक्टेड बाय द रिवॉल्ट ऑफ 1857, सबसे पहला तो साउथ इंडिया है, ये हमने पहले देख लिया. सेकेंड वन इज चित्तौड़ और द एरियाज ऑफ चित्तौड़गढ़. ठीक है. राजस्थान का एरिया कुछ है. देन पंजाब अगर ऑप्शन में आए तो पंजाब वॉज ऑल्सो अनइफेक्टेड एंड कश्मीर. These four states are some of the major areas which was not affected by the revolt of 1857. Okay, correct answer would be 1 and 3. Let's now move to the next question, that is which of the following was not an outcome of the 1857 revolt? कौन सा outcome नहीं था? So तालुकदार्स of Awadh were reinstated and confirmed their states. Next is the control of Indian administration was transferred from the East India Company to the British Crown. Association of Indians in the task of legislation and board of control was established for effective control of the British Crown in India. Now अभी मैंने आपको बताया in the revolt of 1857 various locals, जमींदार्स, तालुकदार्स were also affected. So 1857 के रिवॉल्ट के बाद क्या जो तालुकदार थे अवध में which participated in the revolt of 1857, उनको क्या उनका स्टेट रीइंस्टेट नहीं किया होगा, बिल्कुल किया होगा ना, क्योंकि 1858 के रिवॉल्ट के बाद में 1857 के रिवॉल्ट में देयर वाज द गुड गवर्नमेंट एक्ट ऑफ इंडिया, ठीक है, इन विच द ब्रिटिश क्राउन एज्यूम द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ ऑल द इंडियंस एंड ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी से सारे पावर्स ले लिए गए थे। उन्होंने क्या एश्योर किया था? द फर्स्ट थिंग वाज कि नो फर्दर अनेक्सेशन वुड बी मेड। उसी के अंदर में ताल्लुकदार से जो अवध के, उनको उनका एरिया वापस दिया गया था, ठीक है। ए इज़ एब्सोल्युटली ट्रू। सेकेंड, 1858 के गुड गवर्नेंस एक्ट में क्या था? इंडियन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का कंट्रोल वॉज ट्रांसफर फ्रॉम ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी टू द ब्रिटिश क्राउन, एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट, ठीक है। नाउ बोर्ड ऑफ कंट्रोल वॉज एस्टैब्लिश। नाउ इफ यू हैव स्टडीड द एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पार्ट, द रूल्स एंड लॉज थे जो, देन रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट ऑफ इंडिया 1773 के बाद देयर वॉज एन रिफॉर्म मेड इन 1784 विच इज नोन एज पिट्स इंडिया एक्ट। नाउ व्हाट हैपेंड इज commercial and administrative function of the companies were separated, under which board of control and court of director was made, ठीक है। दिस बोर्ड ऑफ कंट्रोल के पास जो थी वो पावर चली गई थी रिगार्डिंग दी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, एंड कोर्ट ऑफ डायरेक्टर के पास पावर थी कमर्शियल पावर्स। सो दिस बोर्ड ऑफ कंट्रोल वाला थिंग हैपेंड इन द ईयर 1784. इट वाज वे बिफोर द रिवॉल्ट ऑफ 1857. सो सी ऑप्शन गिवन हियर इज नॉट एन आउटकम, ओके। सी हमारा करेक्ट आंसर हो जाएगा यहाँ पे। लेट्स नाउ मूव टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। नाउ विच पर्सनैलिटी गिवन इन द ऑप्शन बिलो इज बेस्ट एसोसिएटेड विद द फॉलोइंग डिस्क्रिप्शन? नाउ ही वॉज वन ऑफ द मेनी हु प्लेड एन इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट इन द रिवॉल्ट ऑफ 1857. अब लेट अस सी, कुंवर सिंह, अहमदुल्ला, शामल, नाना साहब, सबके सबका एक्टिव रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी था। Now he was a native of Madras. अब नेटिव ऑफ मद्रास से कुंवर सिंह मैंने आपको बताया था बिहार, तो आप स्ट्रेट अवे इसको एलिमिनेट कर सकते हो। नाना साहब लेड द रिवॉल्ट एट कानपुर एंड ही बिलोंग फ्रॉम महाराष्ट्र। हमने बी ए एंड डी तो स्ट्रेट अवे एलिमिनेट कर दिया। एंड बॉट अ फेमस बैटल ऑफ चिन्हट इन विच द ब्रिटिश फोर्सेज वेयर डिफीटेड, ही वॉज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड द टंका शाह। नाउ दिस करेक्ट आंसर हमारा क्या होगा? मौलवी अहमदुल्ला वॉज नोन एज द Danka Shah. Okay, now he was an educated Muslim and he fought the battle of Chinhat. He was also known as Danka Shah and Britishers were defeated in this battle. So ये information regarding मौलवी अहमदुल्ला आपको ध्यान में रखना है, ठीक है। So correct answer हो जाएगा हमारा B. Let's now move to the next question. Now, which of the following define the mirasadar? Now, hereditary landowner, co-proprietor under the Rayotwadi settlement. Persian term refer to the warehouse where goods are collected before being sold. Intermediate for merchants in Bengal. One who wields the lathi or stick, functioned as a strongman of zamindar. So, who were the mirasidars? They were the hereditary landowners and co-proprietors under the Rayotwadi system. A is the correct answer. If I talk about the warehouse where goods were collected before being sold, so the Persian term to that was orang. And if I talk about the intermediaries for merchants in Bengals, these were known as baniyas. And one who stick lathi and functioned as a strongman of zamindars, these were known as lathiyals. Okay, so इसका correct answer हमारा A हो जाएगा. Let's now move to the next question. That is question number 13. Now 13 का क्वेश्चन क्या है हमारा? This is again regarding the reasons with reference to the major causes that result in the revolt of 1857. The discontent and dissatisfaction among the dispossessed ruling families and their successors, absolutely correct. The vigorous application of police of the subsidiary alliance and the doctrine of lapse, yes, this was one of the reasons for the political reasons. Prevalence of the rampant corruption in the company administration, this is but obvious, बहुत ज़्यादा corruptions थी. Then Indian sepoys were discriminated against his British counterparts in the matter of promotion and privileges. So absolutely all of the given statement here are absolutely correct. So all 4 is the correct answer to this question. ठीक है. Let's now move to the next question, that is question number 14. Now, which among the following was the immediate cause of the revolt of 1857 in India? Agrarian taxes, Enfield rifles, क्या रीज़न था? सो करेक्ट रीज़न हमारा क्या था, हमारा था इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ एनफील्ड राइफल्स. नाउ दिस एनफील्ड राइफल्स में ग्रीस्ड cartridges was to be used. Okay, greased cartridges was to be used. Now इस grease cartridge से क्या होता था, it means that it was to be bitten off before loading, and this cartridges were believed to be made up of fat of the beef and pig. So cow was sacred to Hindus and pig was sacred to the, was a taboo for the Muslims, not sacred, sorry, pig was a taboo for the Muslims. Okay, सो दिस इज़ द रीज़न वाई द इमीडिएट रिवॉल्ट का ये रीज़न था, जिसमें कि 14th नेटिव इन्फेंट्री में इट वॉज अ प्रोटेस्ट एंड एट अ लेटर स्टेज इन बैरकपुर मंगल पांडे रोज अप इन वायलेंस एंड ही बिलोंग टू 34th नेटिव इन्फेंट्री. ओके, सो हमारा सी करेक्ट आंसर हो जाएगा इसका. ठीक है, let's now move to the next question, that is question number 15. now question number 15 क्या है हमारा, now which of the following administrative changes were brought by the British government immediately after the revolt of 1857. now dual system of administration introduced by the Pitt's India Act of 1784 was abolished. Next is the power of the Secretary of the State were increased and the status of Viceroy was decreased. Now what happened in the Pitt's India Act was that there was system of dual government through the Board of Control and the Court of Director. ठीक है, now what did the Government of India Act 1858 did was that it transferred the power of governance from the East India Company to the British Crown. Now the power to govern was to be wielded through the Secretary of the State. ठीक है, all the given powers were given to the Secretary of State, who was in turn the official representative of the Queen. ठीक है, so the dual government system ended. The statement is absolutely correct. now the power of Secretary were increased and the status of Viceroy was decreased. Absolutely correct statement है यहाँ पे. ठीक है, the Secretary of State vested with the supreme authority and had a free hand in the administration of India and was responsible only to the British Parliament. ठीक है, now Viceroy was given a subordinate status. so both दोनों statement यहाँ पे दिए हैं, both of them is absolutely correct. ठीक है, let's now move to the next question. Consider the following regarding the officer involved in the revolt of 1857. now this is center. okay, now ये मैंने division कर दिया. these are the name of the British oppressors. now if I talk about कानपुर, तो कानपुर में the revolt, I have already told you, the revolt was suppressed by Colin Campbell. ठीक है, so the first given here is absolutely incorrect. now if I talk about Delhi में Colin Campbell दिया है, which is also incorrect. Delhi में the revolt was led by John Nicholson. now Lucknow में it is given Colin Campbell, this is absolutely true, and Bihar में it was led by William Taylor, which is absolutely true. so two of the given here is incorrect and two of them given here is absolutely correct. so only two is going to be the correct answer to this question. so B is going to be the right answer. let's now move to the next question, that is question number 17. now consider the following, which among them are the socio-religious causes for the revolt of 1857. now activities of Christian missionaries to propagate Christianity. absolutely correct. ये Christian missionaries को Christianity प्रमोट करने का जो पावर था वो it was given by the Charter Act of 1813 only. so तब से they were actively propagating Christianity in India. so this was absolutely among the one of the reasons. Second one was attempt at the socio-religious reforms. what were the socio-religious reforms? abolition of sati, then widow remarriage का केस था, that was also supported by the English. now these were some of the reasons which was also there. taxation of mosque and temple land, obviously this is also true. इनके मॉस्क एंड टेम्पल लैंड के टैक्सेशन के ऊपर रिलीजियस डिसेबिलिटीज एक्ट ऑफ 1856 वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड. ठीक है, So this is also true. नेक्स्ट इज रेशियल सुपीरियोरिटी कम्प्लेक्स ऑफ द ब्रिटिशर्स, ये तो हमेशा ही रहा है, डिवाइड एंड रूल एंड रेशियल सुपीरियोरिटी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, जिसके बेसिस पे दे कंटिन्यूसली ट्राई टू डिवाइड इंडिया. सो ऑल ऑफ द गिवन रीजंस हियर आर एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. सो डी इज गोइंग टू बी द करेक्ट आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, लेट्स नाउ मूव टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. नाउ दिस इज रिलेटेड टू द व्हाइट म्यूटिनी. Now this question is, which of the following best explain the causes of white mutiny in Indian history? Now you can just pause this video and try to solve this question. Now correct answer is हमारा it was resentment of company troop against the amalgamation of all presidency armies. So what happened was, now in the wake of transfer of power from the British East India Company to British Crown, a section of European forces was employed under the company that resented to move, that required the three presidencies armies to transfer their allegiance from the company to the queen. So they were not ready for that. ठीक है, so this is the reason why the white mutiny was done. White मतलब it belongs to the Europeans, तो इन्होंने mutiny की थी. So this was the reason why they mutinied, क्योंकि 1858 में after the transfer of power the three presidencies were to be, the armies of the three presidencies were to be merged. ठीक है, so this was the reason. So B हमारा correct answer है. So with this we are done with the chapter. अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छी लगी तो आप वीडियो को लाइक कर सकते हैं, आप वीडियो के कमेंट सेक्शन में कमेंट्स करके बता सकते हैं, एंड यू कैन ऑल्सो गिव योर सजेशंस. की टिल देन कीप स्टडिंग एंड थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग.